love my little jam. I hope y'all like that little jam because I love listening to it before we get started. Hey, financial besties. How you doing? How you been? How you doing? How you been? If you're with me live, drop some money babies in the chat. Y'all know I love to see the money babies, and I see some of them already. I appreciate y'all. And if you're watching a replay, leave a comment to let me know the best part of this video so I'll know you were here. But this is going to be a special one. This is going to be a really special one, and I hope y'all enjoy it. This video is going to be about Black women millionaires. Not your typical Black women millionaires that you think of when you think of like celebrities, the ultra rich people, the athletes, the Olympic superstars that we've been watching this past week. No, we're not talking about them. We're going to talk about your typical millionaire next door, your typical sister girl that looks just like you, that has a lifestyle just like you, that work a 9-to-5 just like many of you. And she just made some very strategic decisions that led to her becoming a millionaire. And I wouldn't be me if I didn't pat my own self on the shoulder, and if I had a collar, I would pop it a little bit. But she became a millionaire in the Sista Circle Mastermind. Yes. So I'm going to bring her on in just a second. Y'all feel free to pour out all your love to my sister when I bring her on. And also feel free to ask whatever questions you want to ask. She has agreed to come on to share her story and to share, to support you all and benefit you all in any way that you need. I so appreciate her for this because a lot of people, even when they build their millions the normal way, like my friend and I have, and they're living that normal life, dealing with the normal struggles, the challenges in the workplace, the systemic oppression, the institutionalized racism. Once we get to a certain level in life, a lot of people get real hush-hush about how they did it, or they get real hush-hush about money. And it's a very understandable reason because talking about money is a little taboo, right? So it's very rare to get a millionaire to open up to talk about their money and how they got there and how they did it. So I'm so grateful to her for being open and volunteering, to come up and say, hey, I got you, sis. We'll talk a little bit more how we came full circle and what led to her coming on today. But I'm so grateful for her being here. Before I bring her on, if you're new to me, hey girl, hey, my name is Malika. I'm a money coach and I'm the founder of my coaching company, Fabulous Financials. I help Black women learn how to master the stock market so you can pull your reparations out, sis. So you can pull your reparations and build a 6- and 7-figure portfolio and live whatever you love. I do that through my coaching programs. I have a course called The Road to 100K if you are a brand new investor and know nothing about the stock market. And then I also have a group coaching program, Invest with Ease, and that includes my Sista Circle Mastermind, which my guest that I'm bringing on in this video is a member of. She has been a long-standing member of. So I'm bringing all the receipts of what I can do, all the receipts of what I've helped Black women do. So when I say I can help you become a millionaire, I'm not playing. I did it for myself and I've done it for others too. So if that is the type of thing that you're interested in, then you're in the right place. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Join my tribe of financial besties. Hit that subscribe button right down there and turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I go live. Like now. Welcome, new bestie. Welcome. Let me say hello to my OG besties really quick. Shout out to my channel members. the channel member besties, and the channel member VIP besties. What's up, Jametta? How you doing? How you been? I appreciate you saying good morning to me. So I will return the favor and say good evening to you because I know the time is opposite where you are. Let me see who else is with us. What's up, Elle? First in the house, first bestie in the house. How you doing? How you been? What's up, Venus? Venus with the money babies, with the traditional money babies. My channel members, bring your custom money babies so they can see what it looks like. So they can see what the money babies look like. What's up, Michelle? You look forward to these Friday conversations with me. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. What's up, Janella? How you doing? How you been? What's up, Samira? That's my other good sis. You'll be seeing us doing something together in the future. Is that right, Samir? Are you still going to do that? What's up, Miss Lauren? How you doing? How you been? Is that my good sis that I met in Mexico? Lauren has a heart of gold. I love me some Lauren. If that's you, I think so. I see your profile picture. I think that's you. Let me know if that's you, Lauren. Lauren is an angel. Hillary Robinson, what's up, girl? Bahan Alpha, how you doing? How you been? I'm starting to see some repeat names with me every Friday. I appreciate y'all. I'm so happy to see y'all. Hey, everyone. What's up, Miss Tanya Brooks? What's up, Tanya Brooks? What's up, Channel Bestie, VIP Bestie? Kimmy Apple? Are you a VIP Bestie? What's up, Tammy? Hey, girl, hey. What's up, Charity Bishop? Hey, girl, hey. What's up? Wow, y'all came out for my good sis Tamieka tonight. Tamieka, they don't show out for me like this. They came here for you. So I am not going to waste any time. What's up, Sharon? I'll say hello one more time. There's a bunch of y'all in here. Hair to Stay. Oh, that's a new name. What's up, Hair to Stay? How you doing? How you been? How you doing? How you been? And Lena? Yes, it's you, Lauren. Hey, and Voyager Collective. Hello, hello. And that is my good sis, Lauren. I'm happy you finally caught me live, and I love you too. I love you too. Lauren is my sister in spirit. But without further ado, I'm not going to hold y'all too long because y'all excited to talk to Tamieka. I'll bring her on right now. Hey, Tamieka.
Hey.
Hey, girl. Hey, how you doing? How you been?
I can't complain. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. As I was telling the besties, I'm so grateful that you're here because most people, when they achieve the financial success that you've had, um, money is taboo, right? Talking about money is taboo, so they tend to shy away from talking about, their financial success and openly sharing what they did, how they did it, because a lot of people get really private once they hit that seven-figure goal. So first of all, congratulations. Congratulations, but I'm so happy you're here. And the besties love you already.
I'm really
So
excited to
let's
be here.
let's go ahead and get into it. I don't have any specific pre-planned questions I want to ask you because I really, really just want the besties to see us talk about money like we do every time we're together and like we've done for how long? 20?
A long time. I can't even tell your audience I was being coached by Malika before she was calling herself a coach. So it's been a long time.
And I don't know if people believe me when I say I never wanted to be a coach. And in the last video, I shared this. I came to coaching because you all asked me
You were
to
called to
do
do it.
it.
Yeah.
And I was so resistant. I was so resistant to it. And now I'm so happy y'all did. But how did we meet?
We met. So when you were blogging, Single Moms Fabulous Financials, I started by following your blog. And I don't know how I made my way there, but once I started reading the blog, I was hooked. And a lot of my friends were following along and we all had our own little blogs, but you had like a real thing and you were teaching things. And, I was young. I was probably like in my early 20s. So it was just such a pivotal time for me to learn like, oh, I should be saving and I should be, you know, kicking more in that 401k and I should be setting financial goals for myself. And, you know, that's not how I was raised for sure. So that's definitely, you know, you raised me in that way.
Oh wow, what an honor. So how were you raised in terms of money, your relationship with money?
Oh, okay. So I was an only child, and my mom was a single mom until I was about 5, and she got married. But even in partnership, it was still she still felt like a single mom. Like it was my mom took care of me, at least in those ways. But she was like my grandmother. We lived in the house with my grandmother, so it was, you know, multi-generational household. My grandmother was very meticulous about money. She was a school teacher for like 30 years. And, you know, like she always balanced her checkbook. She had mutual funds and she had savings accounts and all these things. So my mom never had to like be an adult with money. And then she passed away. My grandma passed away. My mom was like in her early 40s. I was 15. And then all of a sudden she's having to learn how to pay bills and do all these things on her own. And, you know, we were figuring it out together. I started working full time when I was like 15 years old, like just trying to help her pay the bills because she's never had to do it before. So, you know, once you have struggled, like there's no motivation like struggle. Like, no, I know what that looks like and I don't want it. So,
And I don't want to go back.
that's it. That's it.
And I don't want to go back. So your grandmother was good with money.
Excellent. And when I tell you my mom like breezed through it like so fast, my grandmother passed because she just didn't know what she was doing. So, you know, we were figuring it out together. And even at that age, when I was working, I would always save. So if my mom was a little short, you know, I'd loan her the money and she'd always pay me back. So that was just our thing. I was the saver. She was not. My dad was there, but I don't even know what he was doing. But either way, we were figuring it out.
Oh, that's so interesting. So your grandmother she passed on money to your mom, but she didn't pass on any knowledge.
That's it. That's it. So she passed off a paid off house. I don't know how much. Well, here's the thing with the house. She left it in my name because she wanted to make sure I was going to go to school no matter what. And, you know, no instructions, no financial lessons growing up. Just here is what I have been able to accumulate and now figure it out. And, you know, that was.
And how quickly did your mom blow through?
I'd say a year. Probably a year.
Wow.
Probably.
Wow. And I asked that question because I want everyone watching to hear that. So often we think we're saving for our children. We got to build up this savings account for our children. We got to build up this college fund for our children. We got to build up this investment account, this custodial investment account. And people think, oh, generational wealth. I want to be different. I want to create generational wealth. And they automatically start thinking about what they're doing for their children. They compromise, they sacrifice themselves. They ain't putting nothing in their own investment accounts. They're doing everything for their children, but they're also not teaching their children anything. So I see two mistakes there. And let me know what you think about that. The first mistake is, number one, prioritizing your children over your own financial security. And we can get more into that in a minute. Number two, prioritizing your children, building up the funds for your children, and this just giving them the money. Because you don't want your children to struggle. So you're just passing on money to them without passing on the knowledge to go with the money. Mm-hmm. And like your mom, within 1 year, everything your grandma left her was gone.
It was quick. Just the bills, the taxes. Like she never had to do any of those things. And, you know, so it was a very sink or swim, and it was a lot of sinking,
Yeah. So that's not generational wealth. The money was gone in a year.
And what's so crazy about it is like my grandma, so she was born in 1907. And where she was born in Georgia, like they were the Black family, like the well-to-do Black family. So like they owned the funeral parlor and the general store in their town. You know, my mom grew up in Jack and Jill and that whole thing. So it was like, you know, now grandma lived now. So she didn't, you know, whatever, like she had all of her dresses made. And when I wanted
we know the Black women back then. Hair was laid,
all the time. All the
clothes were ironed and crisp.
That's it. That's it. But
Yes.
I don't know what she envisioned. Like I don't know how she thought that was going to go. Um, but she needed a coach. My mama needed a coach. So and I ended up being that to some degree because like I said, when we met, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but when we met,
No, go ahead.
I'm learning from you, and then I'm like, okay, mom, this is what we need to do. So I wish it could have gone differently for her, but I knew it would go different for my people, right? So
Yeah.
I have this duty to say I'm going to set my children up for success. We're going to talk about money, and that's what it's going to be.
Yeah. So as you were learning, you were sharing what you were learning with others. And our good sis Elle over here, she was also an OG bestie way back from my blogging days. I love y'all so much. I love y'all so much. And when I came back, y'all wasted no time. Y'all wasted no time showing support when I came back to the internet because I left for a very, very long time. I was focused on my career. I'm trying to get promotions. I'm trying to climb the ladder. I was the typical Black excellence, had to achieve and do all the things. And blogging just kind of fell by the wayside. I have some regrets and wish I would have continued. But I'm so grateful you all embraced me when I came back. Thank you. So, what I heard, one important thing I just heard you say is that you're doing things differently with your children.
Mhm.
You are actively talking with your children about money and passing on your knowledge
Yes.
to them. Yeah. So,
So
what types of conversation? Because your children are teenagers,
18 and 9.
18 and 9. Oh, you got a big gap.
Yeah.
Ooh, the daughter is the 18-year-old,
Daughter's
right?
18.
So,
Mhm.
what type of money conversations do you have with her?
So we talk a lot about, what she should be doing now, right? Which is focusing on the school. And even with school, the conversation we had with both kids, even though the 9-year-old can't quite understand, that's okay, he'll get there, is that you need to show yourself a worthy investment. Like I'm not going to, empty out the accounts for you to be playing around, right? So our plan was always to say, we will pay for the last 2 years of anywhere you want to go. So whether that was in-state public school or if that was Harvard, we were going to pay for the last 2 years.
Okay.
And that
She
was
had to prove
always
herself for the first two.
that's it. That's it. Because I mess around, be out $50,000 year one, and there's no degree to show for it.
Look, that was the mistake. That was the mistake I made, and I was real mad about it.
We see it. I mean, it happens a lot, right? And as it would happen, she ended up getting a pretty substantial scholarship. So the amount we have to pay is pretty minimal. So we just go ahead and cut the check. But like it's really minimal. So it's okay. But
Okay.
she did understand that going in. So I think that the scholarship. There were two schools that she was vying for, and one showed genuine interest in her, and one was like, "Yeah, girl, you can come." And she chose to go where she was celebrated, and it's just so
Go when you were celebrated. Yes. So, and I'm glad she didn't like follow the hype because certain schools have more hype and
yes,
have more prestige, but they ain't offering no money because they know they don't have to because you're gonna come anyway.
that's the one. And I'm like, "Whoo,
And
this
I
is."
know which one you're talking about because my daughter was caught up in that one too. And I was like, you got that kind of money?
And listen, we were ready to figure it out those last 2 years. Like, girl, you better like we started tracking scholarships probably sophomore year, where we kept a spreadsheet of all these individual scholarships. I'm like, listen, everybody goes for the big Gates Foundation and Coca-Cola and all that. You need the 500, 1,500, 1,000. And she had this long, long, long list. And then what was her second choice became her first when they, cut the check. So
Yes. Yeah. So that's another gem. Helping your children learn how to apply for the scholarships.
mhm, mhm.
That's a gem. That's
Because
money that
it's
they don't
such
have
a
to come
the
to.
money is there, and it's like, for those that are low income earners, there's a lot of schools that pay 100% need, which was not a thing when I was going to college, right? But there's a ton of schools that meet 100% need, and then even if you don't, if you're a higher income earner, because somehow, Department of Education doesn't think we need any help, that's fine, but like we will find the help. The money is there. So that's something I would tell anyone who is thinking about how they're going to pay for college. Like, do your due diligence, do your 529 and all that. But there is money out there. You just have to apply for it, and you have to apply for it like it's your job.
Yeah. And a lot of times, some of those scholarships are easy to get because there's no one else applying for them.
Mm-hmm.
So all you have to do is be aware that they exist.
That's it. And start early. Like I said, we started at sophomore year. Like it ended, we were preparing for that one. So it was like, okay, this is how many you need to do a week, or like we set goals for how many she'd have to research and know, save, like whether it's merit or need based, because obviously we need to be merit, and then what the link was, what the deadline is, because those deadlines usually are around the same time, even though those dates can fluctuate year to year. And just, start now. However old, if you have a kid, start now. I don't care how old the kid is. Start now.
Start now. Good stuff. Good stuff. So back to you. One of the things that you always remind me of, and it comes up in a lot of our Sista Circle Mastermind meetings, you said in your earlier years when you first started learning from me and being mentored by me, you said there was one thing that I said to you a long time ago that triggered you, and it has stuck with you all these years.
So, listen, there's a lot of things you said to me over the years, but the one that really stands out, I said, I consider myself a really good interviewer. And I said, I have never not been offered a job I interviewed for. And you looked at me so unimpressed, and you said, that means you're not reaching high enough. If you have gotten every job that you've ever interviewed for, you should be reaching higher. And I was like, oh, it's just such a paradigm shift. Like I'm just feeling myself like, yes, I'm getting jobs I'm qualified for. And, I just, that really shifted something in me. So, now, like I actually, on Monday, I'll be starting a new position, a promotion. And, that's the thing that it was in the back of my head when I saw it. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and apply. I'm gonna apply.
Because Malika said, I need to take the lid off my pot.
That's
it. It's a central theme, a central focus that I have even in the Sister Circle now. And it applies to so many areas of life. And your the phase of life that you were in at the time when we were talking years ago was career related. But I say that to everyone that I'm mentoring intentionally, unintentionally, or coaching in my coaching container, is I want you to stretch yourself. I want you to take the lid off your pot. So for you, career related, you're looking at these job descriptions and you're like, oh, I qualify for this. I have that, I have that, I have that, I have that. Of course you're going to get the job. Why not? You're brilliant. I don't want you to just limit yourself to the jobs that you qualify for, because I promise you they don't. What I want to shape your mind and help you to reframe your thinking to believe is that I don't qualify for that, but I can still earn it. I can still achieve it. I can still get that job up there and learn on the job. So if the job description lists 5 things and I only qualify for 2, you think I'm applying for that job?
Applying for the job.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They do it all the time. Black women, we tend to limit ourselves and we only apply for the jobs that we think we qualify for, or we only pursue things that we think are reasonable, within reach, and feasible. When I was a single mom on welfare, do you think I ever said, oh, I can't be a millionaire because I'm on welfare? And the statistics say I'll always be poor. That was my reality. That was the limit in my box, right? That was the lid on my pot. I want all of my sisters take those lids off those pots. It is not a flex that you got every job you applied for if you're only applying for jobs that you qualify for.
Or not a flex to me. Overqualified for, right? Like
yes, you're over. If you meet every criteria, you're overqualified. The job should have room for you to grow. You're contributing your time, your effort, your knowledge, your expertise. What is that job doing for you? They need to be developing you so you can then qualify for the next job. If you meet all the qualifications, they aren't doing anything for you. What's in it for you?
Right.
Right? And even when it comes to money, if you say, oh, I want $50,000 or I want just enough to pay my bills, take the lid off your pot. Think bigger. Even when you come to me and say, I want to be a millionaire, take the lid off your pot. Why can't you be a multimillionaire? So, whatever your starting dreams are when you first come into my coaching program, I'm going to stretch you. I'm going to force you to think bigger. Even if you don't see how you're going to get there, we're going to figure out how you're going to get there. And my good sis, what is that job you just earned?
Oh, my new position.
Uh
So
huh.
it is it's a so my former director now she will be my direct report.
So, you will now become your old boss's boss.
That is correct. That is correct.
Talk about it. Talk about it. Congratulations, sis.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I love that for you. I love
Thank
that for
you.
you. I want to take a moment to talk about how our friendship has developed over the years and how there were many ways that you poured into me as well.
You know what I think about when I think about, when we started and we were running. So for folks that don't know, Malika and I, we when we met in person, it was running. And there's so many parallels between like health goals and wealth goals, right? In terms of like the discipline and the structure and just you get out what you put in, and the more time you have, in training, or the more time you have in the market, the bigger the reward, right? All of those, there's so many places where these overlap. So, we would have these money lessons like over the stretch of miles. Like we did a half marathon together, and it was Malika's first. 13.1 miles for those of you, and that point one matters. And but it's such a running with someone is such an intimate thing, right? Because you're together for so long.
The
And
training,
the
the
training,
training to prepare for the race.
so
And
it's
you were
hours
so
together.
pivotal in my training process because I didn't think I could do it.
And then and you did.
And I did because of you. You wouldn't let me quit. You wouldn't let me
Every
quit.
girl was
The
like,
same
come
way I
on.
won't let you quit on yourself and your career, your finance, thinking small. You would not let the roles were reversed. You became my coach.
That's it. That's it. And meanwhile, for me, it was just like meeting a celebrity, right? Because I've been following Malika's blog, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm meeting her. We are hanging. We are friends. Like, this is amazing. Like,
Yes, and those miles and miles that we ran together during our long runs during the training period, the conversations we had, I feel like that just solidified our connection.
yeah. And
And
watching
then
you be excited every time you'd run the furthest you'd ever run before, right? So that's like, it's like the
thinking about
same thing.
it,
Like, wow, I never thought I'd be able to do this, or I never thought I'd be able to max out this account, or whatever. It's the same kind of thing.
yeah, and you're right. It's the same discipline too, because it's a lot of it is mental, right? You don't know how far you can go until you try.
Mhm.
I think when it comes to personal finance, many people limit themselves because I'll give an example. Just recently, the other day, I was on Threads, like the new Twitter now, which by the way, I've been hanging out on Threads more lately, just sharing my random thoughts. Um, and another personal finance coach, she did a post and said, I don't need to be a millionaire. I just want the freedom to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And in my mind, I was like, well, why can't you have both?
But what's the number on that exactly then?
And for her, her freedom number could be less than a million. And that's okay, because it's all about your numbers and your expenses. But the way my mind thinks is, why can't you have both? Why put that lid on your pot and limit yourself? So, with running, with any type of fitness goal, but specifically running for me, I signed up for this half marathon and I had only run a 5K. I've only run 3.1 miles, and here I am thinking I can run 13.
Just taking that lid off that pot.
When I took that lid off that pot. And every time we would have a long run day, and I would run my first 5 miles or my first 7 miles. I think I cried when we did 10, didn't I? Yes, I cried. And I remember wanting the training plan didn't require the whole 13.1, but in my mind, I didn't think I could do 13.1 in the race until I proved to myself that I could do 13.1 during training. And I just had to do it to prove it to myself. And it's the same way with personal finance. You have to be able to see that goal and say, I don't know how I'm going to get there, but that's what I'm going to target. And if your target is far enough, even if you're starting from way back here, my little 5K races. And I think one of the Sista Circle members, I think she did. I started my 5Ks with her. So y'all will hear from her in a future video. But I was just running little 5Ks. And here I have the audacity to sign up for a whole half marathon. That's like little Malika on welfare having the audacity to think she could get off welfare and be somebody that's giving back to welfare recipients. How dare you? Right? Our society will break us down and make us think our limits are here. Girl, take that lid off your pot. But the discipline, talk about it. What type of discipline did you have on your financial journey that led to you becoming a millionaire? What type of discipline did you have to exercise?
I would say the first is the TSP, or that's the public sector equivalent of a 401k.
Okay.
Because, I really thought I was doing something when I was putting in 5%. I was doing it to get my match. Okay, I thought I was doing something. I was like, oh, you want me to do what? Okay. All right. So then, and I didn't do it right away. Like, sometimes when I look back on it, I can be frustrated with myself because, how in TSP you can go back and look and see what was your balance in 2010 and 2011 and whatever. But just every time there is a COLA or a step increase or a grade increase, I'm like, don't worry about it. Just let's keep kicking it up to the TSP. So getting to max out there, that's a pretty good portion of that 7 figures. And that was
so you started with your retirement account with your employer by just contributing enough to get the match, and that's all you were doing at first.
That's it. And I was not making a lot of money. Like, when I was making, like, maybe I was making 50, maybe. So
Girl, you was making more than me. When I first started, I was only making 34.
Look, now when I first came out of college, I was making 30, and then I'd been making more than that, and then I took a pay cut to do the government job. So that was like, whew, that was rough. But I was like, okay, it'll be okay. And I just kept kicking it up. And then
with every cost of living raise, you use the raise to increase your contribution.
Right. So then I wouldn't feel like I'm paying my bills, I'm living. So let's make sure I can keep living in the future.
Yeah.
So that was like the first thing, in addition to saving, right? So, like, what I thought was a normal amount to save, but I would see you and you would set your goals and then compare your net worth over time. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that too. So
yeah.
So, like, I wasn't doing anything fancy. I wish back then I would have taken the leap and done the Roth while I was eligible too, but that's fine. I was saving, and I was setting certain savings goals for myself and increasing those savings goals. I was riding my little hoopty till the wheels fell off so that I could, do that.
Look, we're not going to slide past that. I'm going to let you finish, but we're going to come back to that. I'm about to Kanye you.
Look. So, it really, but that's really where it started. It's just like setting little savings goals for myself. And then when I would do it, I'm like, oh, I'm still fine. Like, I've still gone out with my friends, and I've still, lived a little, but I'm still hitting these goals. And it really is just about, instead of saving what's left over, saving first, right? And that really, I think, is the big shift. And then, of course, being in my 20s when I did that, that doesn't hurt, but it really is that shift. Instead of saving what's left, I was saving first. And once I've done everything I need to do, that is what I spend what's left, instead of the other way around.
Right, right. And you know what? And the fact that you mentioned that you were in your 20s, while that is important to compounding your gains in the market, it's irrelevant to what you're saying because the behavior, the mindset that can be applied regardless of the age. And that's where you have to start when you're
Right.
first starting out. Is getting into the habit of being so intentional about your savings where you save first. Like in our lives, most people think, oh, my most important bill is my mortgage or my rent because I need someplace to stay. Not to me. My most important bill is paying Malika in the future.
Right, because she's still gonna need a place to live.
She's still gonna need a place to live. And if I'm blessed to keep living, she's going to need money too.
Mhm.
Right. So Malika in the future is always my number one priority. What do you think the same about Tamika
I
in the
think that's
future?
right. Like, because it's about being kind to your future self while also finding the balance of being kind to your present self. So we
Ooh,
talked about this earlier, right? Like, there's some other financial people, like people love Dave Ramsey and they do the programs at the churches and all that. And y'all can keep that because, like, to me, like, there's still some things I like to do. So if I don't hit my number for another year or two because I like to do a family vacation and a couple vacation every year, well, that's what it's going to be because I got to live today too. And I'm not subscribing. And I think that's probably what got me hooked with you from the beginning is that like, it didn't feel like deprivation. It was just goal setting and being excited about that and automating certain parts of my life. So it's not anything to think about. It's set up and then I just live.
exactly. And that's the whole concept behind investing with ease. Because we don't have to sacrifice our quality of life. We don't have to deprive ourselves of anything that we want in life. We just have to decide what's important to us and how we want to prioritize it. And then we automate it and we let it bake
That's it.
and continue living our lives, right?
And
Oh, that's so good.
the thing I want to say, the other thing, because there's a lot of changes that have happened since being in the sister circle, right?
Okay.
So, like, that big shift for me is like where it used to be, okay, I'm going to save first and then spend what's left over. Well, now I'm going to invest and save. And then, because it's like, my savings account isn't working hard for me, right? So, like, now having to shift, like, listen, I mean, the chances of, Trump could get elected and he might start, plucking off federal employees. That could happen, right? So, but how many how many months do I need? Like I've got 12 months. I'm good. I'm good. The savings is fine. Let's figure out the investing part. And even that, and I will say for anyone, because I don't know kind of the maturity level in terms of investing for your viewers, but sometimes
Mhm.
I would see Malika's posts with the charts and her being excited at the charts. I was like, I don't know what that means. But when she said, okay, we're going to read the simple path to wealth and that VTSAX, I was like, now I could rock with that. That is simple. I'm not,
GTSAX and chill.
it. So like I'm really excited in the mastermind to get to that next level, but I just want folks that are watching to know like I don't do any of that. I don't do any of this chart watching. I'm not doing any individual stocks. Like I am setting it and forgetting it, but now with in my brokerage account with VTSAX and instead of just saving. So like I hope to mature to that level. That's what like I'm really excited about that. In the invest with ease, but like I'm not doing that now and it's still fine. So let's like don't be intimidated. Like do what you could do when you could do it and start there.
Yeah, I'm going to come back to that. I want to unpack that, but I want to circle back a little bit where you talked about your expenses, where you still drove your older car. You're going to drive it till the wheels fall off. I want to really, really bring the thought home for my viewers so that they understand that the most important thing, the foundation of building wealth, the foundation of getting to that seven figures is how you create the plan and how you set it up and being able to limit your expenses that I don't want to say this. We're not depriving ourselves and not doing the things we love. We're not eliminating joy, but you still want to limit your expenses for things that are not important to you, like the appearance of wealth, driving the luxury car, living in the big Mac mansion, having all the things so people can see, oh, she must have money. Let me know what your thoughts about that is and how that helped you become a millionaire. What does your everyday life look like? Do you think you look like a millionaire?
No, no, no. I have fancy friends that, that had the YSL bags and Louboutin shoes, and that brings them joy. So they should do that. For me, like, I don't care about any of that stuff. And I'm not saying that if you do, that's going to hinder you in your progress, right? It's just about like, I want to spend my money on what is valuable to me, right?
What is valuable to you? A lot of times the material things aren't valuable to people, but they buy it because they want the appearance of what that means. They buy it because they want to be accepted in certain circles. It's not necessarily a value to
Right.
them.
I don't have a fancy car because I don't value it, right? My husband drives so fancy because he does value it, and that's okay. I drive a minivan, and my friends are just like, I cannot believe you drive.
You drive a mama van.
Sure do, with pride, with pride. And let me tell you, that thing's been paid off for a couple years. And every time someone wants to make fun of me, I hit that button, open the door, and say, "Look at my life."
I did not know you drove a minivan.
Listen, people are like, "Are you serious right now?" I said, "Listen, this is the hot whip. When I'm pushing Girl Scout cookies out the back, hit the button. What you want? It's just the car. That's it. And listen, interest rates on cars are so crazy now. Like when I bought my minivan, it was at 0%. So I just took my time, but I paid it off, and now I'm like, it's still. And the pandemic spent 3 years being completely at home. So I didn't put much wear and tear on my car. So I think my car is 8 years old. It's got another 5 in it, I'm sure.
Hey, you got about another good 10 years left in that car. That was so good, though.
There's no shame in my minivan game.
I really did not know you drove a minivan. But I appreciate you for sharing that because that's so important to the wealth building game. Limiting your expenses to the things that you value, the things that you value and truly love, not for the appearance of things. Like you, I drove my car until the wheels didn't technically fall off. The car had so much life left, I sold it before I moved abroad. But I drove my Honda Accord for 19 years.
That's it. Because it does what it needs to do. And the minivan's got TV in the back, girl. It's luxury. I don't care about
You and your mom mobile.
Listen. And we're moving
you got some supporters in the comments.
And look, I'm down to one in the house now, and I'm still gonna rock my minivan. We're moving into college, one trip, bam, open the back door with a button. You can't beat it.
Look, yes, look, my community, we all the same. These are my people.
Paid off Toyota. That's it.
Toyota Corolla, yes. Because Simone B is focusing on building her wealth. We ain't trying to get Louis Vuitton our money. Louis Vuitton already rich.
Listen, I'm get my air conditioning fixed. You see the way I'm sweating?
Oh, wait, hold on. What? No, that's something we value.
That is something we very much value. There's a very much
not.
Look, you see me, I'm glowing. But like it's just like we're just gonna go get it fixed. Like, so that kind of freedom, right? Like I don't have to be like, oh God, HVAC. We're gonna fix it. Whatever needs to be done, we're gonna fix it.
We're gonna fix it. And you don't have to worry about where the money is gonna come from.
Right.
Right? Because you prioritize things in your life. And HVACs aren't cheap. The last time I had to do an HVAC repair, it was like $10,000.
Yeah. That's what you gotta have. And I really like the Capital One. So like, yes, sometimes other banks will have higher interest rates, but the way Capital One lets me organize my accounts, like this is the stuff happens account, this is the vacation. That really works for me. So that's how I do that. But yeah, it's gonna be fine.
This is going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Awesome. So we talked a lot about your foundation and we built up to how establishing that foundation freed up so much of your cash flow so that you could feed those accounts. So you started with your 401k, you kind of matured and elevated from just getting the match to starting to max it out. So when did you move on to things like Roth IRA and
So when I say in the sister circle, it's like, okay, so learning that order of operations of like, what we should be doing first, like, okay, oh yeah, let's max out the HSA. Okay. That's a good plan. And, and then the brokerage account, right? So like, that was like kind of the last thing I needed to do. And I was like, oh,
Mhm.
let's do
So
this.
you
And
followed the order of operations that
yeah,
you
listen, when
okay.
it
So
works, you just do it, right?
it
Like
worked. Yes.
so I started there, and
Mhm.
it's so funny because it's the same shift, right? Where I was like, oh, when I had some extra money left over, I go kick it in the brokerage account, right? And for some reason, I couldn't figure out how to automate. And then in one of the sister circle thing, you like took me through, like, no, let me show you how to do this. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna automate. And then the next month came by, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put a little more in there. And it's just same thing, right? Like, so it's just like over time. So now I'll have a pay increase, and I'm like, oh, now I can, go to the next level in those contributions. So
Yeah.
as I learn how to do, more advanced investing. So like, I'm really, really excited about that. But also really happy at the results of doing what I would call like the bare minimum, just following the steps.
Talk
So
about the bare minimum, what you consider the bare minimum, because some people that's so important to share, and I'm glad you bring that up because some people get intimidated by the stock market and they think investing is the more complex stuff, and they feel like they need to learn how to trade or they feel like they need to do all of this extensive research, and oh, if I don't do those things, then I can't invest, and that's simply not true, right?
and I think like one of the positive and negatives, and I think of the pandemic, right, is everyone became an investor, right? Everyone opened up their little Robinhood account. And
They Robinhood account.
and no shade.
I get all my people out of Robinhood.
Look, gotta get out the hood. Can't stay in the hood forever. But like, it was so random. It was just and I think that we can have this thought, at least I had this thought, I won't even speak for others, that like, oh well, maybe I'm gonna pick one that's really gonna go far, right? Like I think Robinhood gave me one share of GameStop, right? And then GameStop shot up. And I was like, oh yeah. No, that's not really going to be the path. You can get lucky every now and again, but like really just learning. And before you can learn, you can always get to match on your 401k, right? Start there. And
But a
then
lot of people think that's not investing. Oh, I want to learn how to invest. Well, do you have a
that is
business? Are you
investing.
contributing? That's investing.
That is investing.
Yeah.
So starting in that, just like, let me get to match and let's see what that looks like. Right. And then, all right, let's see what this Roth is talking about, because that not having to pay taxes on it later, that's appealing. So let's get there. Right. And like, so just, I say, what else is the bare minimum? And then, like I said, in terms of my brokerage account, it is just, oh, I'm sorry, maxing out the HSA. And it doesn't have to start with a max, right? Like you just keep baby stepping. And because I guess what I found is I could live the way I wanted to live and still just structure where the money is going. Because the money will slip through your hands if you don't give it a job.
And Samir brings up a very good point. So you were able to start opening those new accounts because you were advancing your career,
That's
right?
it.
That's why that first conversation we had was so pivotal to your wealth building
Right.
journey, because you were increasing your income, but you weren't increasing your lifestyle. It sounds
No,
like.
I was living, and even now, I've been in this house. We've been in this house for 13 years. We refinanced in the pandemic, so I'm at a 2.3% interest rate. So where am I going? Nowhere.
I would never move, and I would never pay off that mortgage either.
Where am I going? Where? Like, I used to think I would move somewhere one day with a lower cost of living, but when people find out what my mortgage is, they like can't believe it. Like most of my friends in one bedroom apartments pay more for rent than I pay for my mortgage, and I get to share it with somebody, right? Because I got this whole husband over here. So like,
A whole husband.
so lifestyle creep there are certainly things I do now that I wasn't doing 5 years ago, but there's also like those balances look a lot different than they did 5 years ago too. So just making sure that you are scaling the saving and investing higher and faster than you are scaling up the life, and prioritizing what is important to you. And for me, that's not bags. It's not a bigger, fancier home. It's like where am I going? I'm not going anywhere. Like, this is my house. I have a very, very comfortable low mortgage payment at a stupid low interest rate. So this is where I reside for probably forever.
That's like music. That's like, oh, I would never move.
I'm not. And when we bought our first house, and it's funny because we bought our first house before we got married. And I had a lot of friends that were like, girl, what are you doing? And I'm like, girl, you got a whole baby with somebody you're not married to, so relax. It's like, I'm like, I can sell this house if it goes awry, but that baby, you locked in, So we bought the house back when
So y'all
Obama
bought the house
was
before you got married?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So we bought the house when Obama was doing that like $8,000 first time home buyer tax credit.
Oh, okay.
So that, I mean, it was a low interest rate at the time, but then we refinanced that in the pandemic too. And we've had great success with a renter. And I was a reluctant landlord. So I have to say that, like, and listen, I think following your blog also probably put some fear in me on the whole landlord thing.
Because I was an accidental landlord.
Same. It was just like, well, we'll see how it goes, but it's really worked out. Like, so that certainly has helped. And, we had, the house happens to be near a military base. So we usually just have a military person in there, and it's just no problem. Like, we've never been without a renter. So that was a big help. Right. So just the timing was really perfect for that.
Yeah. You bring up a lot of good points. So taking advantage of the programs that are available, right?
I was like, $8,000. We'll put this wedding to the side. Let's get this house.
Yes. And when you bought the house, you didn't buy a really, really big house or the whole amount that the mortgage company said you can afford.
No, because I was like, I see what you're saying, but my numbers don't line up with that. So that's not what we're going to do. And when we bought the second house and we decided to rent it out, they don't count you have to be able to afford both houses basically until you've been a landlord for 2 years. So even the limit they said we could carry both houses, I was like, I don't think I can
run your own numbers. You got to run your own numbers, because the banks will have you maxing yourself out, and you ain't got no money to go on vacation with.
And what kind of life is that? What kind of life is that?
A life we not living. A life we not living because we travel around these parts.
That's it. And that's all I care about, right? Like, I'm not a bag person. I'm not a shoe person. I'm not a clothes person.
We'll book some flights.
That's it.
We gonna book some flights. So let's get back to your investing. And if you don't mind, I want to be a little nosy.
Okay.
Like, can you talk a little bit about your strategy, your simple investing strategy? Let's focus specifically on your brokerage account, like the taxable one that you have complete control over. Yes. So what is your investing strategy, and how did you build that account up?
So I said, I need $3,000 for the initial investment in VTSAX. And let me tell you something. So I want to say it to those that are watching. In a Sista Circle, like, Malika pulled the account up, like we could see it. And we're like, girl, all that is from this? Okay, I'm going to get some. I'm going to give you some. So
what she's talking about, what my YouTube community has heard me say is, I keep my stay rich money and my get rich money separately. So when I coach beginner investors, or when you're new to any of my programs, the concepts and the strategies that I teach are from my stay rich money account, because I want to show you fundamental concepts that you can build wealth with, that is very simple and very easy. And that stay rich account is how I started, and is how I built my first $1 million portfolio. So that's how I will start you too when you first come to me. So that's what I share all the time.
And that's what I did. I started with the 3,000 initial investment. And that was actually 2 years, at the end of this month, it'll be 2 years that I open up the account. And I told myself, I want to have $20,000 in that account in 2 years. Right. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, we'll put a little bit, and then we did a little more, and now I want to do more but I hit it. I hit that 20,000 like how long ago? A few months ago, right? So like I was like, oh, this is doable. So like now the new goal is I want to get that account to 100,000. Like that's my new goal.
And I
Um,
love those targets. Yes. So you
and
started with 3,000. How much were you putting in?
it was random, right? So it was
Mhm.
like that. Oh, you know what? I have a lot extra. Like I have so before my spend plan and the whole thing, right? So this is just like I save a certain amount. Okay, cool. And then I was like, oh,
And
I
she
know.
added that caveat because she knew I would get her if she didn't have the spend plan. So
I
when you
just
come into my coaching program, not only do I teach you how to invest and build wealth, I also teach you how to manage the foundation of your money. I
So
don't
everybody
budget.
has a
I don't,
job, right?
yeah, I
And so
don't teach my
before
clients how to budget, but we do manage our money in a way that makes even that very simple,
yeah,
right?
I had a lot of lazy employees before the Sister Circle,
We
right?
had a lot of lazy
So
employees.
I
We
was
had to
like,
put them to work.
right. So whenever I would have a little extra in my checking, like, I have this amount I keep in my check. I think probably everyone has that, right? So I'm like, oh, I've got extra this month. Let's put it in my Vanguard account. And then once you showed me how to automate it, I was like, oh, okay. I'm gonna do 100 a pay period. And I was like, girl, come on, I'm gonna do a 200 a pay period, right? And then I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do 300. I'm gonna do 300. I'm gonna do 300. And then, so I just kept going like that. I was like, oh, I can do more and still live. All right, let's go ahead and do
So
it.
you can start small and graduate.
Yeah, so like it,
You
it
know?
required that 3,000 initially, but I was nickel and diamond in there until I really got the automation. And then as you see the number, it's just like when you're losing weight. When you see that number go down on the scale, you're more motivated to do more work to get bigger numbers, right? So it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. So you started with the 3,000 to get access to VTSAX. That's a mutual fund in
Mhm.
Vanguard that represents the total stock market. So what I hear you saying, are you telling the people that you started building up this brokerage account by just using a simple investing strategy and investing in one thing?
One thing, one thing. Because, like, while I was learning, like, oh, we got to know how the company makes its money and what's its mode, and we got to listen to the quarterly call. I'm like, girl, I'm busy. I can't be on all these calls. Let me just do this one thing, right? So that's what I would tell anyone. Like,
I love that.
it's, if you could just do one thing, do that, right? So figure out what that one thing is. So for someone, it might be, opening up the Roth and maxing out the Roth. It might be then going back and maxing out the 401k. It might be, let's see what this HSA is talking about. So like, but just pick the thing you can do, right? Like, don't be intimidated by all the things that people are doing because the path can be simple.
It can be very simple, and you are showing us how simple it can be. You don't have to do all those complex things because
I'm
I'll
not
be honest.
tracking individual stocks. I want to learn how to do more things, right? And expand, that I want some get rich accounts too.
Mhm.
In the meantime, what I
Yeah.
can do that isn't hard is keep doing this BTSAX. And that book, that Simple Path to Wealth, you told me to read, that was a really good read because it helped you really understand the rationale, right? So like, it was helpful for me. And even just explaining to my husband what I'm doing, right? I'm like, I can thoroughly understand what I'm doing in here. Like, I'm betting on America. American company's going to come through. Let's do this.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So, just a quick recap before we go and take questions. So, if y'all have any questions for Tameka, drop them in the comments. Put a Q in front of them so I can find them really quickly. But just a quick recap. First things first is maximizing your income, right? So, you focus on advancing your career to increase that income. Then you started with your TSP, which is the 401k or 403b equivalent, by getting the match, and then you maxed that out. And then you moved on to the HSA, you maxed that out, while at the same time managing and limiting your expenses to the things that you value and love. eliminating lifestyle creep. You maxed out the HSA, you maxed out the Roth IRA, and then you graduated to the brokerage account. So many people start investing and they think they have to do all these complicated things and go straight to the brokerage account.
That's
That was the
hard.
last
You
thing.
just
That was
gotta,
the last thing you did. From what I'm hearing, right?
yeah, and that's like fun, and it's not hard. Like that's like I said, I can't wait until I can read the charts the way you do and get excited by things because I don't understand any of that. So like I would say to anyone,
We'll get you there.
you don't have to
And
understand any of that.
you don't have to. Sis is which I want to hold that for a minute because I want you to do your whole flex. You don't have to do all the complex things to become a millionaire. What Tamieka is showing us is you can still become a millionaire the simple way
And do really regular stuff, like really.
and live a full life doing what you love and still become a millionaire. So if you don't take away anything else from this conversation, what I hope you take away from it is all that noise that's out there. That's all it is noise. You don't need to do all those complicated, fancy flipping and all the watching charts and reading this report and listening to the news and responding to everything that's going on around you. It's just all white noise and it's distracting you from your wealth. If you missed anything in the video, if you came late, hit rewind, listen to what God Good Sis is saying because she kept it very, very simple. Now, let's talk about the numbers.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the numbers. So, we had one mastermind meeting, and I was actually talking to another member about her goals. She's very similar to you, though. She doesn't do all the complicated things. She's also, a mom. She has kids, and she wants to learn, but she's like, I'm busy. I ain't got time for that right now. And in the Sista Circle Mastermind, everyone is at different levels. Everyone is at different levels, and there's still something that you can learn, whether you're, just starting out with the more complicated things or you're more advanced. Everyone is at different levels, but we were talking about her numbers, and I was asking her, had she reached her target yet? Because I knew she was inching up on that seven figures, right? And she kind of waited until the end of the meeting and was like, oh, by the way. And we was like, girl, we want to celebrate you. And the whole meeting, you over there quiet too.
I hadn't done the numbers yet. So, here's the thing. Because it's so simple, like when I was, in our earlier days, like I really was looking at this net worth number, like often, regularly, right? Like how did it go from month to month? And now like I'm not doing that. So I hadn't done it in a while, right? So like when I remember in the meeting, I was like, so we're counting the value of our home? I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm married, but I was really set on my goal personally, right? So that's one of the things Malika and I talked about. Like, I want to do it for myself. Like, that's great. I it also, like, it doesn't hurt to marry someone that got their stuff together. But either way, I was like, I want to have my stuff together.
In fact, a lot of people say that's the most important financial decision you can make, who you choose to marry.
Right, because I want to be another like Mary J or what's her Wendy Williams. No, nobody wants that, right? But like I wanted to do it for myself, and not because I think that I won't be married forever, because I think that, right? But even with that, I was like, I just want to do it for myself. So my goals are with my portion. Like there's a certain amount of money that goes into the our household money and all that. So everything I'm doing with just my portion. So like that was really exciting. Like I feel a lot of pride about that.
So you had already been a millionaire with your combined household assets with your husband, but just this year, because of the Sista Circle Mastermind conversation that forced you to go back and reanalyze the number. And I think it wasn't that you weren't tracking. It was around the time where we would update our net worth anyway.
Right. And I was like, wait a minute. And then I shot you a little DM. I was like, look at this.
Yes. He was like, go ahead. You say it. What did you say?
I am a millionaire by myself.
So that's without your husband's assets,
That's it.
without your husband's contributions, just the part that is yours and yours alone. She said, by myself.
And when I filled out my little questionnaire, like that was my goal, right? In joining Sister Circle. And like it's just so much has shifted in terms of what I think I'm capable of, you know, what I can do and what I can learn, and what I think is possible for my lifestyle has shifted since being in the Sister Circle.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. So, what would you say if you had to share with the audience, like just one thing, the most important thing that you get from the Sister Circle that you think contributes to your financial success? What would you say?
I would say I would say it's the camaraderie where we can talk about just that wealth, the joy, the abundance, right? Like to not like I feel like we are all as Black women, we're very comfortable in that strong Black woman struggle, and I don't want to struggle. I don't want a hard life. I don't want any of that. So like, and I told Malika before we signed on today, I was like, it's not in my nature to be like, oh, look at me, guys, but I'm so I'm just so vested in what she's doing and what it's done for me, and just knowing that other people, yes, speak it. Um, just I want to see more people that look like us do it, right? So that, because like I said, the vacation ain't no fun if the girls can't come. So you
Hey, talk about it. That person in the comments was like, "If you a millionaire, why you coach?" Because I want more millionaire friends that look like me. Duh.
and it's doable being regular. And I was like, I feel like I am one of her more basic students, so I felt compelled to share just because I am, because like I said, I know how intimidating it can be to like see those charts and see all those things like, oh, I can't do that, I can't learn that, I don't have time, I'm busy. That's fine, you can be busy and do the simplest things and get there.
Because I teach you how to do it with ease. I teach you how to do it with ease. And I'm so happy to hear you say the camaraderie is the biggest thing for you, because when I talk about invest with ease, that's what I share all the time too. That's the best part of the program to me. It's like the program gives you so many different things. You have access to so much. You got the course, you got the master classes, you have the group coaching, you have all of these resources, templates, and I make everything easy. But the best part is the members of the mastermind. And that's why I hold it so near and dear to my heart, because I love y'all so much. And to see y'all supporting each other, and because every meeting is not a great conversation talking about money. We talk about hard stuff
Hard
too
stuff. And
that
it's like
affects Black women.
no one's jealous. It's a place where you can talk about like, oh, I hit that goal. Like, yes, girl, yes. Like,
Yes.
it's like to be able to be comfortable to share your successes with a group of women who are supportive of you, and they don't have to wonder how you did it because they're learning how to do it right there with you, and we're all doing it together. So it's just that's what makes it really great.
Yeah. And then when we need to have those hard conversations, there's a lot of tears that have been shed on our group calls, right? When we need to have those hard conversations, or sometimes when you're just overwhelmed, like, Malika, you're a great coach, you're a great teacher, but this is a lot. I'm overwhelmed, I'm feeling stuck. Is it just me? And other sisters will be like, no, girl, it's
No,
not
girl.
just you. I
Yes.
experienced the same thing 3 months ago. And then we talk about how to overcome those roadblocks, those, the feelings of being stuck. And it just solidifies our community and our relationship even more. And we grow together. We overcome those obstacles together. And I just love it. So to hear you say that's what you love too, and that's what has helped you the most, it warms my heart.
Yeah, because like no one else knows. Like I feel like it's inevitably going to happen that someone that I have shared your links with is going to see me and be like, "Girl, what?" And I'll be like, because it's not something I talk about, but here it felt so important to share, so I'm doing it. But that's not, like I said, it's not something I would typically do. I'm sure someone's going to see this and be like, "Oh my, I had no idea." Yeah, because I look regular, I'm driving regular, everything is regular, and I have a very regular path. Um,
Yeah. And we don't need to flex. And to me, that's one of the benefits of having that financial freedom and you being a true millionaire, not just the appearance of being a millionaire, because it doesn't have to be a flex. We have learned together in the mastermind to normalize it. It's normal. It's several of us that are millionaires now. Okay, it's normal.
And had a rough estimate of when we'd get there.
That part, that part, and then you got there faster than you thought you would, right? So I love that we normalize conversations about money. We normalize wealth building, and it's not taboo. It's not shameful. You don't sound like you're bragging. And you ain't bragging if it's real. It's just factual at that point, right? And you know how the person got there, and you know that you can too. That's the thing. You know that you can too. Because the minute you see someone that looks like you, that comes from your similar background, your similar circumstances, or slightly different, achieve something that you thought was impossible, you like, oh, she did it?
It looks more
Bet.
possible.
Bet. I got this. I got this. So I'm not going to hold you too long, but let's go through the comments real quick to see what the besties want to ask you, and then we can wrap it up. But I love that you shared. You can become a millionaire in a very, very simple way. I'm going through looking at cues. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments with a cue, and I'll try my best to find them. This was the first cue I saw. Does go where she celebrated me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when I tell you we are an HBCU family, I went to an HBCU, go Rattlers. My husband went to an HBCU. My in-laws went to HBCUs. My mom went to HBCU. My dad went to HBCU. Like, yes.
Your legacy.
Yes.
Yes. I love it. I love it. That is one regret that I have. I did not go to an HBCU. And I wonder if it's because of where I grew up. I grew up in the North, and it wasn't, to me, I feel like in the South or just below the Mason-Dixon line, I feel like HBCUs are just as prominent and just as a target, a goal to reach, getting into an HBCU as it is any other, typical Ivy League. And that's what people strive for. And then there are legacy members that are HBCU students. But when you grow up in like New Jersey, New York, you don't hear too many conversations about
it. And there's none in New Jersey, right? There's like 2 in Pennsylvania, and I wouldn't have necessarily wanted, no shade, but like I wasn't looking to go to Pennsylvania because I'm also from New Jersey, as you know. But like, everyone in my family had gone to HBCUs, and my grandmother was Southern, and my father, who is, he's born in 1939, so he's, much older. So like he didn't have the option. Where else was he going? He was obviously going to a Black college. So, that was just, I never even entertained. I did not even apply to a non-HBCU. It just wasn't even a thought.
And I think had I known about them, I would have, but I wasn't even aware of them until I moved to the South. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, my daughter, she was like, I ain't applying there. I was like, why not? Because I wasn't into the HBCU concept. I saw good schools and this is where you apply to. And she was like, no.
I was one of 13 Black people in my graduating class of 400. So I knew that I was like, I just want to experience what it's like to be in the majority just for a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. And I so regret that I did not have that experience. I so regret that. But
teach a class. That's what you do. You need to be an adjunct teaching at one of these schools. That's what you should do.
That may be in my future. Speak it into existence. Let's see. We have another cue here. Out of curiosity, where does tithing 10% fall into play? That amount could be $500 plus each month, making it hard to save as one may want. That's a great question. It also assumes that Tamieka is a Christian and that she tithes. We're
I do not
not
tie.
living
So
that.
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, right? Like I am a Christian. I do
Mhm.
not tithe. I give, but I do not tithe. So, but if you do, kudos to you. And you know, you say if you pour, I will pour out a blessing so great you will not have room enough to take it in.
Mhm.
Try it. Let me prove it to you. So you should do that. If
Yeah.
that is what your faith compels you to do, there are promises for you there too. I just that's not a choice my family makes.
Okay. All right. Let's see if we find another cue. I know that's right, Voyager. We are not living on rice and beans. No, ma'am.
No,
We
I eat
enjoying
a
our
lot of
black
my money. It
beans.
is built into the plan.
Look, I swear the majority of my money goes towards food. I'm over here in Southeast Asia where we all know it's significantly cheaper. The cost of living is significantly cheaper. So as I'm reviewing my spend plan from last month to forecast for, the next couple of months, like, why am I still spending $400-500 a month on food?
Because it's making you happy. Why wouldn't you?
I'm like, I'm just one person and I'm in Asia and I'm still spending $500.
I
Girl,
mean, I
I
don't
know
know
why.
that I would be any better because I just think, like, to me, the way I experience a new place is heavily through food.
Through the food.
And I
And
don't want
I'm
to
going
eat what
to
I know how to cook. I want to eat their food.
yes, and I'm gonna go to every I can't even say the word. Every beautiful restaurant that exists. If there is a rooftop with a view of the Petronas Towers, I'm going to be there. If the decor is pink and floral, I'm going to be there. It don't matter. Reservation me, please. Girl, I eat up all my money. I think Amber says that. Amber in the Sister Circle. Amber said, "Girl, I be eating up my money."
And that's listen, and you just have to allow for that. You build that into your plan and keep it moving. And that the same would go for tithing, right? Like
Same. Great point. Great connection. Yes, yes. Because I'm not gonna stop eating my money.
no intention of.
I'm looking for cues. Oh, this is a really good comment, though. The appearance of wealth is killing so many people I know to try to stay on trend without having a budget to truly afford it. Yes, yes. When you stop caring about what other people think or what other people think you look like, it will free up your mindset. It will free up your cash flow to do things that truly, truly build wealth. You look at me, you look at Tamieka, you don't see what your mind typically thinks of as a millionaire. But you can't take away the fact that we are, because we don't care what it looks like. I am graduating from my moo phase.
Listen, I almost put one on. I was like, oh, should I put on a muumuu? But see, I would have been by myself.
Girl, when I first retired, I was so rebellious. I wore suits for 20 years, suits and heels and dresses for 20 years. So when I retired, I was like, I don't want to wear nothing that feels restricting. I don't want to wear no belt, no buttons, no nothing. All I want is
Listen,
pockets.
the pandemic got me, right? So now I'm going to be going into the office with a new job. And I'm like, ooh, I only got about 3 pants to still fit.
You gonna have to go shopping for clothes.
It's for the best now that I'm going to have some marker because elastic pants will tell you a lie.
Exactly, exactly. So I'm graduating from my moo and I'm gonna try to clean up a little bit more when I come on live.
I,
So I do care
I
about how I
really,
look.
I really almost wore one. I really thought about it.
But the moo are not going away completely. You gonna get a moo every now and then. I love it. I love it. Let me look for cues. Ooh, there's another good. I'm looking for cues. I promise. But these are good comments. Modern millionaires have a superpower to not care about what others think about their lives, and that serves them well. Absolutely. Black women build well. She gets it. A young woman I met, let's see, a young woman I met shared with me that her mentor told her that she needed at least a Dooney and Burke bag to be accepted among a certain social circle of Black women.
I was looking to see about a bag handy, but most of my bags are from Amazon. I'm not going to hold you. Like, it's just not something I
Look,
like.
mine right here. Yes, this is my Amazon travel bag. Just because I
Yeah,
wanted it to be waterproof during
I
my
do have
travels.
I have nice luggage. I invested in nice luggage. But like my day-to-day purse, yeah, that's gonna be Amazon. Amazon.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't want to discount this advice though, because it depends on what the young lady's goals were. Where I am in my phase of life, that's not important. But let's say she wanted to advance her career. And part of her advance in her career, she needed to attend certain conferences or she needed to attend certain meetings. And the people that were in these circles do care about how you look. So, in order to help her achieve her personal goal, the mentor was advising her on what she had to do in order to be accepted in those circles. So, that may be a valid response for her personal goal. And I don't know what that goal was. Now, I would never suggest that because I wouldn't be interested in those circles. But that's not to say it's right or wrong. It's not to say it's bad. So as a coach, even with when it comes to money, I would never tell someone you shouldn't want that or you shouldn't do this just because I wouldn't do it. I'm going to coach you and advise you based on what you tell me you want, based on what you tell me is important to you. And I'm going to help you get there.
And
But I'm not going to redirect your focus.
I don't think that's any different than like the people that need to go to now I can't think of it, but Martha's Vineyard every summer, right? Like, oh, you should be there, and all, like, I mean, listen, like, I do understand that that's not my life, but I get it.
Right. If that's your thing. But like you mentioned, your mom was in Jack and Jill. You know, I have some friends, they are in Jack and Jill, their kids are in Jack and Jill. That was never my thing. My daughter was never in Jack and Jill, but I know if you want to be in those circles, if you want to be in that around that caliber of people, you have to meet their criteria. So if that's important to you and a Dooney and Burke bag helps you get there, who am I to say that that's frivolous or you shouldn't do it? If that's your goal, do what you got to do. But if your goal is to be a millionaire, then I'm going to advise you on how to become a millionaire. And you don't need a Dooney and Burke bag to care about what it looks like to get there. So it depends on the goal. So I don't want to look down on that person that gave that advice.
Or on any purchases people choose to make, because I don't like people judging mine, right? Like, I like to buy back my time, right? That's another place I spend my money. So, I don't want anyone judging that either.
Right. Okay, I don't see any more cues, y'all. So I think, okay, I'm seeing some questions without cues. Y'all help me out. Y'all know I'm old and I can't see. The cue helps me find your question. So what if you have a 401k that does not match? Should you not do this? What do you think about that, Tamieka?
I mean, you're the expert, but my thought would be,
you're just as much as an expert than me.
I mean, there's still on the stage. There's still the tax advantage, but I think if I didn't get a 401k match, I think I'd start with the Roth and then go to the 401k. So maybe I would just reverse them a little bit and focus on the Roth.
I see nothing wrong with that. Thank you for those who used the cue, Miss Jan. Tamieka, how long did it take you?
Well, that's an interesting question. Like, in terms of when I started in earnest, like, because I would say that halfway there happened just doing regular stuff and just happened. So if I'm starting from when I did my first 401k, then I would say it took starting when I was like 22, but in earnest about being serious about like the investing and maxing out and all those things, like I would say probably in the last, like, I started maxing out the 401k maybe 5 years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And that's where I saw the big jumps. Like, if you saw that balance in the first couple of years, it's a shame, truly. But like, once you get that first 100,000 in there, that second comes much quicker. And it just, yeah.
Yeah. And I shared that in a recent video and I showed the chart on the screen. So if you missed the video, I don't remember what the title was. I'm sorry, but it's one of the more recent ones, the last 2 or 3. And I shared the chart on the screen where I showed you getting to the first 100K is the hardest because you're doing most of the work. But after that first 100K, it's like your compounding gains explode and your money literally does the work for you. And that's one of the reasons why I separate my two programs. Your Road to 100K is to help you establish a strategy and a foundation to do that first hard part. And then invest with these in the sister circle is after you get that 100K, then we gonna grow, baby. We gonna grow together. But yeah, the first six figures is the hardest. But after that, I won't say it's a cakewalk, but it's a lot easier because the money babies multiply on their own.
It can blow your mind when you see like how hard people work and then how hard your money is working once you hit that part, right? Like
Talk
I
about it.
I remember like having this moment looking at my annual statement and being like, wow, like my retirement account made more money than like some of my family members did last year, right? So like that will get you going. So like that first 100K is really, I think, is really key in those accounts, and it can happen faster than you think.
Mm-hmm. And so once you got serious, it took you about 5 years.
Once I got serious, yeah.
Yeah. And so you did it a lot faster than me. I would say once I got serious, it took me about 8 years.
And but I also had the properties that helped a lot too, right? So like the huge growth in terms of the value of the homes
Mm-hmm.
is considerable, right? So like
Okay.
half of it is that, and then half of it is the retirement accounts, and then like the a lot, not all of the other half, but like probably 25% is that once you split it between me and my husband.
Okay. All right. So more people are interested in how long it took. So you've answered the first half. And do you plan to retire early?
No. So, federal government retirement, so just the way it works out from when I started to, I will hit my minimum retirement age, the same pay period that I hit, the same pay period that hit my 30 years. So that's at age 57. So I plan to work until I'm 57, but
Okay.
not a pay period past it, not 1 minute past. Like I'm,
Okay. And I love that you say that because when I talk about building wealth, I do tend to talk about retiring early because I did, but you don't have to. And the beauty about building that wealth and becoming financially independent, it just gives you options to
and people
choose.
love to tell me that I'm not going to really retire at 57. Like, no, I am. I am. Uh, so, like, for so many people that look like us, they're working into like their 60s and 70s, and I'm like, that's not going to be what I'm doing. And my I mean, I'm doing everything I can to try to be healthy and live long, but like genetically, I'm not really wired to be. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. So like, I'm not gonna be working in my 60s. It's not happening. So
Yes, yes. And I love the fact that you have the option to choose. So
mhm.
you plan to work until you're 57, but guess what? At 55, you can say, you know what?
Don't worry
I'm
about
out
it.
of
You're
here.
not gonna do it, right?
If this crazy dude takes over and he gets to eliminate future voting and do all the things that he plans to do and
I
start
might be out.
ch- ch-
I've been watching
Mhm.
Malika, and I've been talking to my husband about it, and I already am like, well, I want to take a job overseas. When my son graduates, like it's like I don't necessarily have that kind of fire mindset, but I'm definitely like I'm going to be very very comfortable, and I'm going to leave when I'm ready to leave. I'm not trying to maximize my leave by staying to the end. I'm not doing any of that. So,
Mhm. Yeah. You're in a position where you have the option to choose and you can
and
pivot
that's what
and
the
do
money
something
gives you,
different.
the
That's what
option.
money gives you. Absolutely. I love it. Here's another question for you. Now that you're a millionaire, do you work full time, part time, not at all? How has your life changed? So she still works, but how has your life
Changed it
changed?
all. Doesn't change at all. I'm
Hmm.
just still doing this, still plugging away the same way as always been.
Just living, just living.
Just living.
Awesome. Look like we have some, some
Hey!
alum in the house. And wait, she's in Chanel. But I don't do a good job of inviting my new sisters into the mastermind. We actually have two new members to the mastermind after going through the vetting process, and they are a perfect addition to our community, Tamieka. So I don't think you've met them yet. But
Can't wait.
Chanel is one. And then Dr. Donna, I don't know if she's in the house. Dr. Donna is another. and they are both amazing. So yeah, you got some alum in the house and also a new sister that you'll be meeting soon. Michelle says, thank you for sharing. I got another. Oh, okay. So
Right, HBCU
HBCU,
love.
HBCU. Yes, y'all representing. Y'all representing. Got another cue for you. Um, oh, I think we answered that one already. So there was a different person, but uh, we answered it. She also went to
All right.
HBCU. Okay. You got alum in the house. Y'all representing.
Yay! Love to see it. Love to see it.
Yes. Um, I'm just searching for cues. A lot of great comments. I appreciate your comments, but I don't want to hold Tamieka too long. So I'm just looking for cues, and then we will wrap up. I think I went through all the cues. Yay! We did it. Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank
Tamieka.
you. Like I
I,
said, I just this is not my nature, but I feel so much gratitude towards Malika and just kind of how she has kind of set me on this path that I want to pay it forward. Like I said, I'm just regular, doing regular things, and I'm still living my regular life. And y'all can do that too if you're not already. So
yeah. So if you had to leave one final piece of advice to the Black women that are watching us, what would you tell our sisters?
well, one thing.
Or it could be multiple if you can't
Okay,
limit
I
it
would
to
say
one.
like for one, start now. Start now. The thing that you can do now, do that, right? So if you're not contributing your 401k up to match, if you get a match, do that. And if you can't, if you've already done that, all right, let's look into that Roth. So like start that order of operations. And I would say, just there's so many things. There's too many things. The income, like the maximizing the income thing, I think that's really important. There was a woman who I actually just hired, and she came back and asked for more money, and I was like, yes, yeah, I'm supportive. I don't know what HR going to say, but yeah, girl, I support that. Like, because some of the biggest jumps come from either you leaving to go to a new place, or you have to open your mouth, right? And when you get hired, that's the time, right? Because that's every raise is based off that where you start. So when you get that new job, hiring people is exhausting. It's such a heavy lift. So if I have someone I want, I'm going to do what it takes to keep them. So go ahead and get your money. That's what I would say. Get your money.
Get your money, sis. Get your money.
Get your money, sis. That's what I
Yeah.
would say.
Yes. And what do you think about the Sister Circle? Would you suggest that they join
I
us?
would highly recommend it. I would say that even the things I'm not doing, right? Because I'm like, who that's advanced, or I got to be on how many earnings calls, or I got to like all of that. I'm still learning it and absorbing it, even if I'm not doing it, right? I am still doing the bare minimum, and the bare minimum has gotten me there. And having the group to be able to share those successes with, right? Because like I said, I think we're very comfortable in talking about our struggle and our hardship. I think talking about our successes and the soft life stuff is actually where the discomfort kicks in.
And the
So,
soft life stuff.
right.
Yes.
So
We prioritize joy and
that's
abundance.
it. So, like, don't feel bad about doing what makes you happy. And there is a path for you to get there.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So, if anyone is interested in joining us in the Sister Circle Mastermind and growing your portfolio to the seven figures like Tamieka and continuing to grow with me seven figures and beyond, the link will be in the description. You can apply to join us. But on that note, Tamieka, I am going to bid adieu and again say thank you very much. Would you like to share your socials if anyone wants to connect with
Oh
you?
yeah, you can follow me at
Mhm.
Meekspeak, MiekSpeak. I'm pretty plain on there. Just it's just me and my family and my trips. Like I said,
And
I
you do some DC mom stuff
oh yeah,
in
and
the
I
community.
blog, so I'm a contributor on DC Mom's blog. So actually, I have a post. My most recent post last month was about preparing for senior year of high school to get ready for college and all that stuff. So I would encourage you to check it out.
Okay.
But yeah, and that's not an income thing. That's just for fun. So
Mhm.
that's, you know, um, check it out.
Yeah, so any DC moms, I'll put her link to her latest blog post in the description so you can check that out. But again, thank you, Tamieka, and thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you took away at least one little nugget from her to encourage you to continue your wealth building journey because becoming a millionaire is for you too. And it does not have to be hard. All you have to do is continue learning like Tamieka is reminding us, she's still learning, but she a millionaire and she a millionaire by herself.
And listen, and I'm no
Bye.
guru. I can't wait to get back with the ladies and learn more and grow more. So, you know, don't be.
Yes, yes. So, all right, I can sit here and try to say bye for the next 5 minutes, but we're going to say bye for now. Until next time. Bye, besties.